the Prophet Ibrahim experienced a dream in which he was ordered to sacrifice his beloved son Ismail. The story is revealed in the Surah As-Safat, ayah number 99, 113. Uh, and then he said, "Indeed, I will go to where I am ordered by my Lord. He will guide me. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous." So we gave him good tidings of a forbearing boy, and when he reached with him the age of exertion, he said, "Oh, my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you, so see what you think." He said, "O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me if Allah wills of the steadfast." And when they had both submitted, and he put him down upon his forehead, we called to him, "O Abraham, you have fulfilled the vision. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good indeed." This was the clear trial, and we ransomed him with great sacrifice. And we left for him favorable mention among later generations. Peace upon Abraham. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good indeed. He was of our believing servants, and we gave him good tidings of Isaac, a prophet from among the righteous, and we blessed him and Isaac. But among their descendants is the doer of good, and the clearly unjust to himself. At first, Ibrahim alayhi salam was skeptical and believed it was trickery of the cursed devil. After experiencing the dream the following night, he then understood that it was a message and a command from Allah. Without hesitation, he prepared his son for the sacrifice. Ibrahim loved his son dearly, yet this was no obstruction to honoring his duty that was instructed to him by Allah, and thus proving his full submission to Allah. Ibrahim took his son to the top of Mount Arafat, and in his hands a knife and a rope. Upon arrival, he mentioned the dream to his son Ismail and made him aware that Allah has decreed for him to be a sacrifice, and in obedience his son Ismail accepted what was commanded of him. Ismail asked that his hands and legs to be tied to avoid struggling during the sacrifice, and that his father should blindfold himself to avoid witness the suffering of his son. Ismail was aware of his father's love towards him, and he knew that this would be difficult to witness. As Ibrahim began to carry the sacrifice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced Ismail with a ram, and Ismail was unharmed. Allah tested Ibrahim to see his dedication in his submission to his Creator. In his willingness to oblige to Allah's commands, Ibrahim successfully passed the test, and Qurban acts as a reminder of our beloved Prophet Ibrahim. Prophet Ibrahim's dedication and devotion to serving Allah obediently. This is the true Islam of oneself that Allah expects from us. Brother and sister, rahimakumullah, the act of Qurbani is carried out in the festive season of Eid al-Adha during the Dhul Hijjah, translated as the month of pilgrimage. The 12th month of the Islamic calendar, this serves as lesson to carry out our duties and is inspired by the dedication of Ibrahim to Allah. It is also the period whereby the special pilgrimage of Hajj takes place, which is one of the 5 compulsory pillars of Islam. The Hajj takes place on the 8th, 9th, and 10th day of Dhul Hijjah, and Eid al-Adha begins on the 10th day and ends on the 13th. Then why should we perform the sacrifice? The Prophet ﷺ mentioned in one hadith narrated by Imam Tirmidhi, "For every hair of the Qurbani you will receive a reward from Allah, and for every stand of its wool you will receive a reward." The reward for Qurbani is immense, as mentioned in the Sunnah and Hadith. The most important aspect of Qurbani is the total devotion and submission to Allah. The word Islam, meaning submission, derives from. To be a devout Muslim requires forsaking our pride and ego to dedicate ourselves entirely to the will of Allah. It is through our Creator's guidance that we obtain true success in the dunya and akhirah. However, submission is not the only lesson we learn from the story behind Qurbani. Other core lessons vital to the practice of Islam can be examined, such as unity wahda. It is a sacrifice that encourages unity through the sharing and distribution of meat to those in need of food. Whether it is shared to Muslims or non-Muslims, the meat is distributed to help those in need. Of your support in doing so, we are encouraging peace, blessing, and unity among all those within the human family. Allah's mercy is for all of His creation, and we help whoever is in need of it. Pity, taqwa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 37, their meat will not reach Allah, nor will their blood, but what reaches Him is pity from you. Thus have we subjected them to you that you may glorify Allah for that to which He has guided you, and give good tidings to the doers of good. The importance of Qurbani lies in the act of it, the act of worship to Allah, which is the essence behind the sacrifice. Allah in all His glory is not in need of our charity, nor does He need our sacrifice. He wills and we follow. All He needs to say is be and it is. He is the giver of life and the taker, and all shall return back to Him. Nothing we do benefits Allah. Instead, what Allah commands is mercy on us and benefits us. What we sacrifice is feeds our needy from our families. After all, we are all children of Adam, and everyone is our brethren. In addition, we are nurturing our love for the akhirah and our pity in our good deeds and willingness to obey any command given to us by our Creator, which in turn increases our iman and taqwa, faith and God-fearing. Moreover, we are strengthening our sabr, our patience, which allow to release the love of this world and its short-lived wealth by sacrificing for Allah, which is in actual fact is a sacrifice for others. Allah has given us this opportunity to eliminate our desires and rid ourselves from the clinging unto what is not ours. This is a chance to purify our hearts and should not be missed as it allows us to come closer to our Creator. Therefore, to purify our hearts, we must purify our intentions so that Allah accepts our acts of Qurbani, and by strengthening our bonds with the Creator, we are strengthening our lives in this world and the next. 3. Mercy. Again, in Surah Al-Hajj, after Allah tested Ibrahim, then He honored him. And when they had both submitted, and He put him down upon his forehead, we called to him, O Ibrahim, we have fulfilled the vision. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good. Indeed, this was the clear trial, and we ransomed him with great sacrifice. The sacrifice of Ismail was a great test on our beloved Prophet Ibrahim, and Ismail was saved by the sure mercy and grace of Allah. This cradle of mercy has always existed through Allah and has been our source of inspiration, guidance and comfort since we was created by Allah. Allah's mercy, whether we choose to see it or not, exists in unique ways beyond our imagination. Allah is the planner, and we must obey His commands. As a mercy to us, His mercy is the reason we can hear, see, taste, smell, touch, and the reason we are compassionate. And we are able to make decisions. Allah's mercy should never be taken for granted, and the story of Ibrahim and Ismail illustrates that we should be eternally grateful to Allah for His benevolence. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Be merciful to those on the earth, so the one above the heavens will be merciful to you." The Creator is a continuous source of guidance for us, and we are taught in detail how we should treat one another. By sharing meat from what we sacrifice for Allah with our brothers and sisters in humanity, we encourage mercy and empathy for those in need, similar to how Allah showed compassionate and mercy to Ibrahim and Ismail. 4. Patience. One of the most important teachings in Islam is patience. The virtue of a believer is to persevere through hardship and contemplation to Allah, and in constant understanding of His trials. Allah revealed in the Quran, "Be sure we shall test you with something of fear and hunger, some lust in goods, slaves, and the fruits of your toil. But give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere, those who say when afflicted with calamity, to Allah we belong and to Him is our return. They are those on whom descend blessings from their Lord and mercy. They are the ones who receive guidance." Quran Al-Baqarah, ayat 155 to 157. Patience is one of the best blessings Allah can ordain on a person. When Ibrahim told his son that he will be a sacrifice by the command of Allah, Ismail is in absolute patience and loyalty to Allah, accepted without any refusal to the situation. Ismail's response to his father was, "O my father, do what you are commanded to. You will find me, God willing, patient." Here Ismail is displaying the ultimate example of pure patience for the sake of Allah, which is an attribute all Muslims should have. Our beloved and final Prophet Muhammad emphasized its importance and mentioned, "Whoever practices sabar, Allah gives him sabar, and no one can be given anything better or more far-reaching than sabar." May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this story become a lesson for us and grants us the ability to follow the wisdom, and finally make us become more obeying Him for the rest of our lives. Amin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.